Welcome everybody back again with another episode of Heroes on the Mat. Today I have Ryan from the NCPD competing on Heroes on the Mat 4. He's a returning competitor, and on October 5th, he'll be definitely putting on a show. I'm very excited. Let's get right into this conversation. How did you find out about Heroes on the Mat? Probably the same way I did.
Yeah, I think probably the same way as you did. I found out about it through our grappling club at work. Dropped into the group chat, and I was like, "Yeah, that's right down my alley." Honestly, like it being like one super fight is much more appealing to me than a whole day of tournament where it's like you have multiple matches and they could change the time up on you at any time, and it just there's more. It's like great because it sort of like puts jujitsu and law enforcement, and then also now in the military on a platform, and just makes it visible and like puts more eyes on it, which I think is important because I think it's just like very applicable to like what we do and makes us safer, makes the public that we deal with safer too when we do have to unfortunately go hands on. Um, and and also I'm just you know love just a sucker for martial arts.
I
Love
was gonna say I'm a sucker for a good competition idea.
yeah. They put me in have me opportunity to put me in a cage and wrestle somebody, like I'm gonna like say yes. Like I don't know, I have trouble saying no, honestly. Like when he texts me like, "Hey, you want to compete again?" And I'm like, "Yes, yeah."
You're like, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so busy. Yeah, but yes.
Yeah, dude, I was the same way. I see it in the group chat, and then I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then I see what it is. I was like, first responders only. I was like, sick. I was like, I don't have to go to a tournament, drive somewhere, not waste all day, but spend all day,
Yeah,
and just for the chance to maybe get freaking blast double legged by an 18-year-old,
right.
state rest, whatever. I was like, it's gonna be another cop, another like FDNY, well, like correction officer. I was like, all right, cool. We're not gonna try and kill each other, hurt each other. And then when I had to submit my picture, and I see like the graphic of the picture, and I'm like, shit, this is serious. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I gotta like train and stuff. Like,
yeah. It's funny. Like the guy I faced on Dan Gavigan, I faced him on the first one, and like I was just like, yeah, like he's like, oh, I have another blue belt. He's 26, not a whole lot of competition experience. You interested? I'm like, yeah, yeah, fuck yeah. Like I was 37 at the time, but like whatever, like these young guys, I'll show them like. And then I like did like a little Google search of him, and I found out he was like college lacrosse and football, and find his Instagram, and he's like a fitness influencer. I'm like, all right, like, well, I'm gonna have to, you know, hit the weights a little harder, and I was.
ramp it up.
I was kind of like, yeah, I have like the old man strength, like it'll be better. And I was like, that I showed my coworkers to like, hey man, like you might like want to bring your gun with you.
Dude, the old man strength or the dad strength
Real,
is a real thing.
it's real.
100%, it's a real thing.
Because with that said, I mean, I'm joking around. I went into it feeling like I was going to do well. Took the loss. It happens. I think, but like you're right. Like the old man strength is a real thing. They're like isometric strength.
Yes.
It's the last thing to go away, and it definitely is stronger once you get into your 30s. Just and it's just from a lifetime of like doing things. Whether it's like, especially if you're just like been, whether you've been swinging hammers or lifting weights or doing jiu-jitsu, it's just like this natural sort of like uh progression of just like years of like the benefits of testosterone and muscle tone, and like and even like a roll around with the at the gym, roll with like a guy in his 20s that's like muscular. When you grab a hold of the fucking gi and you see their eyes kind of like light up
They're
because
like,
they really,
no.
like, yeah, it's like it's real. And then I'll have guys afterwards. But I had rolled with this one guy. He told me that he played football in high school or stuff like that. probably like around my height but heavier, and I took him down, mounted him, and put the top pressure on him and smashed him the whole round. He's like, "Hey man, like how much do you bench?" I'm like, I haven't benched in like
Yeah, right.
135, but yeah, I still bench, but like not like I used to when I was younger. But it's like you still like there's the what's more important to like jiu-jitsu and fighting is like real world strength. Yeah, there's definitely important to be able to just push somebody off of you, like the old like Derek Lewis, just like push them off and
Yeah, yeah.
you're just a monster. Like yeah, that's real. But the old strength is a technique. It is for sure. I sometimes you go for that Americana and not quite there. You're strong.
Sometimes you got to
Go
just
there.
switch it up a little bit.
Go there. Yeah.
Man, I'm a big believer in everybody's jujitsu is different. And like if like dad strength is an attribute that you have, like fucking use it. Like yeah, still have good technique and everything, but like if somebody's very fast and they have good cardio, like use that. Tire a guy out. If somebody's got like good isometric strength, like use that. Like to your advantage. That's what I'm all about. Like my game has changed. Not that I even have like a game. I just go in there and just do what I can to get better. But I've noticed like especially after I had kids, that I'm more like I guess old man jujitsu now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Talking about one thing I would say about, I guess it's like the strength versus speed versus explosiveness.
Yeah.
It really depends on strategy sometimes. I feel like my strategy in the gym is have good guard retention. Don't let my guard get past, especially
Yeah.
if the guy's fast or they're springy or they're bouncy. And then once they get that first, like they got to take that
Yeah.
deep breath. Like okay, now is my time to like, put the
Yeah.
put the gas on and put the attack on. Almost like you showed me the books before and you mentioned the Art of War, and I'm like, I've never read it, but I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, it should be on my list to read. But that strategy versus just going in there and do whatever the hell you want or whatever feels natural, I feel like is a big help too, especially for more like intellectual jujitsu games.
Yeah. I mean, if you read it, he talks a lot about like deception. So like because all warfare is based on deception. So it's essentially like you want to lure them into like what you want to do. You want to set the pace. You want to set traps, and like so you want to show up with a strategy, and it's further on the same page. It says the general who wins a battle makes many calculations in his temple ere before the battle is fought, and then it goes on to say the one that doesn't plan like loses. So if you show up no strategy, no sort of like game plan, you're probably good. And but the other person is game planned hard and prepared and is ready. I mean, it all comes down to preparedness and then what your sort of strategy or like your sort of whatever your strategy is going to be to win, and that could all change too. Like Mike Tyson's quote is saying like everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face, and like that
100%. Yeah.
you need to be able to like adjust in the moment, and like if you're well trained, you can. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you train reps and reps of being in bad positions, like getting out of cross-side, getting out from underneath the mount, you know, fighting off submissions, um, you can recalibrate in the moment and win. And for and it's like you should be if you're well trained, like the people that have mastery in jiu-jitsu and martial arts or boxing, they're not. It's not like they're thinking hard about it. Like they're not focusing on like trying to think like how do I get out of cross side? Like they know already. It's a reaction. They react and they move, and like for like you know it more like old term an old term that like for is like fighting in the void is like what how Musashi would describe it, and all that means for us, like if you understand what that means, more current terms, it's like just like when you're really in the zone, when you like when a baseball player is like hot, right? They've been hitting
Mm.
really well all the time. They're like we would just consider like you're really in the zone, and it's like they're relaxed, they're not overthinking anything, and they're able to hit well and play well on the field. It's like, and then like when you're not doing that, it's kind of like they have like the yips. You're striking out. You're overthinking.
Yeah.
Your swing, or if you're a pitcher, you're overthinking like what your tells are before you throw the ball.
Mm.
All of a sudden things are off, and then the and the difference between like baseball and fighting, it's like if you're really worried about the jab, now you're staring down their head. You're over committing to one thing, or like in jitsu or grappling, you're really worried about that, about the blast double. Now you're too focused on that, and you're leaving something else open, and it's like so you need to like keep that like focus and relaxedness and like confident in that ability that like even if they hit something, then all right, you're gonna just hit that counter by reaction, and you know, not I don't think as a blue belt, not quite there with my jujitsu, but like conceptually, like knowing that like the best way to win is to be relaxed and confident in your jiu-jitsu and like do what you know. Like
Yeah.
one of the I think a good piece of advice for a competition is like nothing new. Like don't do anything you don't know,
Yeah,
because
for sure.
you're not gonna all of a sudden, if you're not a wrestler, you're not gonna all of a sudden hit a blast double in competition. You probably just get guillotined or sprawled on top of. Like it's just not worth it. But like or like try like some sort of escape that you've never done, because you might just put yourself in a bit worse position. Stay calm and do what you know. And yeah, I think like there's a lot to like be learned as far as like like reading the Art of War, and then also like other books. Like it gives you a lot of the conceptual like uh ideas of like understanding martial arts and how to get better, and just like also you can apply it more broadly too. Another thing like Musashi says is like repeatedly says like you must practice constantly, and it's like that line you see that like a bunch of times that is throughout his text, and it's like you like you can't become you can't learn how to fight by reading books. You can't like there's only so far you can get through by just studying or just like studying technique. You have to learn to apply the technique, and learn like you could practice a scissor sweep 100 times, but if you never try it in a live roll, you're not going to learn the timing. It's not really going to quite. You have to actually drill it, apply it, practice it, and so there's like sort of the mind body idea. Like you're
Hmm.
you your mind needs to be connected in your body in such a way that like you know how to react and how to move and how to apply your strategy while the fight is happening. It's so there's like that balance. I don't know if like yin and yang is the right description of it, but
Yeah, because
it's the
you reminded me of something that somebody told me once. I just remembered. I was like really struggling with. So there was this one guy. I don't know if I'll say his name. Yeah, all right. So I'll just go. There was this one guy that would always smash me the exact same way, and I don't know if he didn't like cops or just for some reason just saw me and just saw me as like his easy round. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna. But he would do the same thing every single time. This was back when I was a white belt.
yeah
And like I was not figuring, and I was thinking too much. I was like, oh, I'll try this, I'll try that, I'll try this. Then some dude came over to me because I was like asking another guy, and I was like, how do you get out of side control? So he goes to me, he's like, dude, he's like, don't think, just do. He's like, just do. He goes, then when the round's over, he goes, that's your time to think. He's like, you're kind of doing it backwards. He's like, you're thinking during the roll. He's like, if a guy gets you, he gets you. If he passes your guard, he passes your guard. Like if they submit you, they submit you. He's like, it happens. He goes, let it happen. He goes, try not to let it happen. But
yeah
it's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen forever when you're doing jujitsu. He's like, so
Right.
just get used to it. He goes, but after, he goes, that's your time to think. He's like, most people just they roll and they don't reflect and they don't think about it. And it sounds like and that changed a lot of stuff for me. And I forget it all the time too. And I still have to remind myself to think about it, like to go over my matches in my head and like go over like, oh, what am I doing wrong here? Or like even try to record myself, which sometimes is tough.
Yeah.
Even that like helps like huge. And it's more like it sounds like you have like more of an intellectual approach to jiu-jitsu than a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think so. I started doing like a lot of like the reading back when I was more focused on Muay Thai because I just had like a general interest in it, and
Mm.
like I think like I went that direction because like I started a little bit older, so I just wanted to like other ways I can improve my ability to fight and my ability to understand fighting. That's not just like showing up at the gym or like,
Right.
and just from a time standpoint too, like you know, sometimes I have time to open up a book for a little bit, but I won't be able to get to the gym until later. So it's like so I just like I looking at the importance of like combination body mind that type of thing,
Mhm.
and just like and also like just was just interested in it. I think like reading the theory and like I've kind of gotten like away with it a little bit. But like when I knew it was coming on here, I kind of like started flipping through the books again and like, oh yeah, like looking at things that I apply and like and just remind. It's just also just like reminders of like, um, if you really get into it, it's like how things are supposed to be. Like a reminder that like sometimes you're just gonna lose really poorly and then that there's a reason for
Yeah.
losing, right? Like you a lot of times, people lose and it's just like, oh, they got lucky or they just caught me or like, but it's like
Oh, there's a really
the reason you were not prepared or like you stylistically like you approached it, you approached things wrong and like you need to be able to be introspective about that and like, all right, well, how am I going to improve and like how am I going to like let this also like also a good way of like separating your ego from things. Um, I think I think when you have an understanding of like why maybe things in your match didn't go well. You won't necessarily, you won't be as like hard on yourself. It's like, oh, I just did, I'm just a bad fighter, or just like I'm not good at this. Like, no, you just you made like an error here that put you in a bad position. Like the one like I've asked that similar question that you're talking about, like oh, how do I get out of this? And like it's like you'll get this annoying answer sometimes, but it's like true. It's like don't get put there. Like this guy
yeah,
put me
yeah.
north south once, and I was like, how do I get out? It's like, well, this is how you do it, but really like just don't get there. And it's like it's true. Like if you're don't get stuck in north south. This is gonna be bad, and like, don't
There's not many options to get out.
yeah, right. Like especially if the guy is more just better than you in the first place. Like you gotta somehow avoid that.
Yeah. Or
Like
even like understanding the position is so important too.
yeah,
Because if your opponent understands the position and the mechanics of the position more than you do, I don't care what you're going to try and do. He's going to know not the exact technique to counter your move, but he's going to know basically what to do. For example, if somebody knows that in leg locks, they have to beat the knee line
yeah,
in order to escape. Well, they don't need to know I pummel with the left leg first, then I hook, then I fight the hand. Like they're not thinking sequentially. They're just at all costs beat the knee line. I don't care how I beat the knee line,
yeah,
just have to beat the knee line. So the intellectual approach, in my opinion, it's better. The intellectual approach, to each his own. I mean, some people are athletic freaks, but I think the journey always lands to the intellectual approach to jiu-jitsu. So it's good. I like
yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of similarities with the way that like I approach jujitsu too, and I got to read more books, man. Like you're getting me onto now. What's been your favorite book so far? Like the most influential for you?
Okay. So there's a couple I really liked. I read a couple books by Sam Sheridan that I really like. He
Mhm.
does fighter art in the fighter's mind, and he'll do basically he's done music. The first thing that he's a Harvard graduate, but he was also well, wildfires in California. Like his dad was a Navy SEAL, so he like had this like interest in like uh, fighting and fighters and stuff like that. So he did this fairly certain he did this like National Geographic documentary on like he went and learned how to do Muay Thai for 3 months and documented everything and took a fight. And then from there he wrote his books and like and so in the Fighter's Heart he talks about that experience of him being in Thailand and then he goes. Part of it's like his experiences training with people or just interviewing people. So his second book, The Fighter's Mind. I don't know. It came after The Fighter's Heart. I don't know if it's the
Mhm.
second, whatever. Um, one of my favorite passages. He interviews Dan Gable. Goes to I think it's Iowa in the Midwest, and like it's 3 degrees outside, and gets to his. They have like a music. It's like his whole
Keep going. It's still
uh,
recording. I'm just gonna.
farm. I guess like his whole farm or property lives on, and interviews him and people that knew him, and um, it's just a really interesting to see like you know how like people's like to read about people's attitudes that have made them mentally tough and their experiences that sort of like have made them into good fighters. In this case, like Dan Gable, like he trained his philosophy and like later in life, knee replacement and hip replacements. But when he was wrestling, he trained the hardest, like fanatically, just trained the most, so he wouldn't have a chance of losing. And I think he only had like one loss in his career, or one loss in college. And like,
So crazy.
yeah, it was like in like the national championship. He's still like bent up about it. It's like hard for me to like even conceptualize that. I go to a local tournament and take L's from like or like
Dude, I've been to it. I went to a tournament once and I lost like all 4 rounds in a round robin, and I was like, well, shit happens.
that.
Like I can't imagine. Oh, my one loss in my career. Like, okay,
Yeah,
it happens.
could have done this differently. But it's interesting how like if you like look at things like all the like even just by geography, like most of our best wrestlers are from like the Midwest.
Yeah.
What is there to do in the winter in the Midwest? It's 3 degrees out. It's like you might as well just go on the mats and just train.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, what do? They drink or they fight.
Yeah,
Like they fight. Well, they fight in the form of wrestling, but
May fighters from Dagestan. Yeah, you
yeah,
live in
yeah.
Dagestan. There's no like distractions. It's not like being in New York City or LA where it's like, oh, am I gonna train or am I gonna go, out with my friends or am I gonna go to the show? And like these places where there's like you don't have like while like in New York City you have the accessibility to like all types of like training and like people that are masters of like their craft. You also have a million distractions in the Midwest or or certain places. It's like you're you're gonna as like a young person you're gonna want to be a wrestler. Like
Yep.
you're gonna focus on it. Like I'm sure you could find some sort of distraction if you really wanted to, but I just find that fascinating. How like or if it's like even like your lively and like a lot of fighters are cut out of the same cloth. Come they're usually a lot of times on the poorer side, and it's like fighting is like their way out, and especially in like third world countries like Thailand, like they're not doing Muay Thai for fun and enjoyment. Like
No, that's their life. Like
yeah,
they have to win.
right, and they think it's weird that like Westerners like go to Thailand, like choose to do it. It's like you have money, like what are you doing? And like, not saying that they don't, there's not some of them that actually enjoy Muay Thai. Like the guys like Sanchai is always having fun
Yeah.
do Muay Thai. But like that's they have to do that to make money. They're fighting for money from the time they're like elementary school aged.
So
It's
crazy. So
no,
crazy.
they don't have like. I guess it's like they're. I mean, our closest equivalent, I guess, would be like high school football, where we're like crazy about it, but like it's not in the same way where it's like that's your livelihood. But even in America, it's like they don't call people prize fighters for no reason. It's like you're fighting for money. You know, a lot of these guys, you hear the same. If you ever watched like a season of like The Ultimate Fighter, all these guys have like similar stories. It's like they sacrificed their whole life to like get on The Ultimate Fighter, and it's like then they don't even get into the house and they lose because it's like, and it's like, so you know, definitely like I find that interesting too, like the what motivates people to become fighters and get into it, and then like how like that motivation to be good. It's like there's not a like if you're fighting for make a living like that, there's not a, like taking off, not going to the gym one day is like not an option, right? Like
Yeah.
skip a workout, like you're putting your livelihood at jeopardy. Meanwhile, for me, like this is just for fun. Like at the end of the day, like any sort of competition I've done, it's like it's just like it's my hobby, right? But at the same time, there is, because we work in law enforcement, it is important to actually be
Yeah.
well trained. Like
It has dual purpose for sure.
dual purpose. Like yeah, you don't want to just not. You can't afford in our profession to not train at all. There's unfortunately plenty of people that do. Like
Yep.
just say it. Like there's guys and women that we work with and that work all over the country that are free guns. You're a free gun. Like if you can't fight, you
I've
don't.
never heard that term before. That is the realest thing I have ever heard when it's come to martial arts and jiu-jitsu and law enforcement. A free gun. Wow, that's a freaking great way to put it.
If
Huh.
some big guy decides that he's gonna wants to attack you and take your gun, he could do that. We get lucky because most people are worried about consequences. They don't want to pick up the charge for doing that, even if they could get away. Even if they're a bad guy, like they're even when you deal with someone that's like a real perp, like they're thinking about most of the time when they're fighting you, they're fighting to get away. There are times where they're just gonna try and hurt you, whether they're waiting to ambush you or trying to take your gun and hurt you. But like we have the benefit of like backup and consequences on our side, but there's going to be times in your career where like your backup's not going to be close, and
Or you're gonna find that one person that just does not care. They don't
yeah,
care. They're fighting because
yeah,
it's not to get away. It's just because there's something wrong with them. You know.
yeah. Sometimes I mean you've probably experienced, you show up to a call and it happens that I see it happen to everyone. They show up to a call and for some reason you're the guy they hate. They're like, fuck you. This guy, I don't like how he's looking.
I'm usually that guy.
Yeah, look at him. They'll say something along that. He's standing there with his arms crossed, and you're like, "The fuck? Like, what did I do?" But like, so I mean, yeah, there's something about your body language they don't like. Maybe you're intimidating to them, and they're like, "Get that guy away from me!" Or they're like, they're gonna try and fight you. But like with jujitsu, you have like that immediate leg up. Like you have it, and even in dealing with people that are unruly, like you have that confidence to know, like, if this goes hands on, like assuming this guy isn't some like random purple belt, which can happen too, which is another reason you could train, or like there's a college wrestler.
But even then, if that did happen, they'd probably respect it. Like the scrap back and forth. Like that probably wouldn't hurt you that bad. Like I would almost rather. I think it'd be interesting if I ever encountered as long as they're not like crazy and like really trying to kill me.
Yeah,
I've never really encountered that before. It would be rather funny. Well,
yeah. I
not
think
funny, but it would. In hindsight, it would be funny.
most people that do martial arts try and only really do it in self defense anyway.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never know who you're gonna get. You could have get a real perp. Usually, if they're like, if they're a perp, they're a bad guy. They haven't put the time in to become to learn how to grapple or wrestle or fight. Yeah, you could get a guy that's skilled and it's going to be a problem. But like generally, like if this guy's going to start wiling out, it's going to be a wrap quickly. Because for me, it's like a lot of times what happens. It's like you're trying to put their hands up behind their back and cuff them up. Where they pull their hands away, then it's just body lock, front trip. Rear body lock takedown. It's always
Yeah,
there.
I have a good story specifically about that. So I came from the NYPD before our job. I did patrol. I'll say I did patrol in the first, and I think I had like 6 months on at this point, and I go to a domestic, and a typical domestic guy, the guy beat his wife. The wife's already outside on the lawn crying. She's got a big lump knot on her forehead. So my partner at the time, he pulls her aside, starts talking to her, and then I see the guy come out of the house and he's pissed drunk. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was on a day tour at that time.
Yeah.
And he comes outside and he's not like wanting to fight, but you can tell like he's already saying he's like, I'm not. He had a Spanish accent. He's like, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail. Like, and
Yeah.
just kept repeating it over and over. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna have to go hands on with this guy. There's no talking this guy down. You know the people that you talk. You're like, okay, yeah, this is gonna have to go that way. So I tell my buddy, I was like, we're gonna have. He's like, yeah, I know. He pulls the taser out, and I'm like, yo, just like, wait, hold on 1 second. And I was like, let's just try it. All right, so I go over to him, and I try to grab the wrist, the first point. He pulls the wrist away, arm drag to the back, to the front trip, and I didn't even land with him. He was so
Yeah.
pissed drunk that it was just like he just fell on
Right.
himself.
Yeah.
And I just get mount, and I'm like whispering sweet nothings into it. I'm like, hey, come on, like just put your hands behind your back, like come
Yeah.
on. And dude, my buddy comes over, just tases the shit out of him, because he was still listen,
You know, he's
he
still
was still resisting.
Yeah.
He was, but just dude, just fucking tasered the hell out. It was so funny, and I was like,
Yeah. Like,
we could have it, but I mean, this is okay too.
well, here, that's the thing, because your partner probably at the time probably didn't do jujitsu. So, like, for him, when he gets in this position, this is how I get compliance to
Yeah.
get his
And
back.
listen, I'm down with it. Like, however we get the compliance, and afterwards he was like, dude, that's because an arm drag, like
Yeah.
it does look slick at
Yeah.
once you learn it and you do it. It's one of the things that I like to do. It's like my first takedown, arm drag to the back, and he complimented me on. He's like, dude, that was sick, and like we're writing out the use of force,
Yeah.
and I've never done a use of force before,
Yeah.
so I'm writing, and I'm like, I kind of have like a smart aleck attitude a little bit, and I'm a little salty, so I'm like writing it all in like jujitsu, like the apprehending officer performed an arm drag takedown to the back to a front trip. And it's just like he's reading it, he's like, yo, you can't like write this shit like that. And I'm like, why not? That's what it was.
Of course.
I was like, that is what it is. But it was funny. It's always a funny story that I go back to because of the tasering portion of it, which in hindsight is funny. He was resisting. You can taser him, but
Yeah.
it was just automatic where like you size the person up and you know what you're gonna do, and it's
Yeah.
99.9% going to be effective. And we barely broke a sweat. Nobody was really injured. I mean, he was tasered. Getting
Yeah.
tasered sucks, but you know, it was like a job well done, as opposed to dropping elbows and punches in the face, which we could have done, and some people do that too. I find jujitsu to save not only yourself sometimes, but also the other person.
Yeah. Well, you see that a lot. It's like you see videos of like cops just beating this guy down. It's like it could be a matter of like they have a gun on them or whatever like that.
100%, yeah.
But like sometimes it's just like because they don't have the training and other means to like get this guy's hands behind his back or to
Yep.
get him to fly. But like when you have jujitsu, it's like I know I'm not getting rolled. Like they're not rolling me off of them. They're not like they're not gonna get the upper hand in this grappling exchange. Like
Yeah.
this is like, and even like I did something similar. The guy was I could feel him like he did construction. He's like strong guy, but like hit the body lock takedown, got on his back. He's cursing me up and down,
He's
but he
done. He's
can't
done.
do shit. Like I got him. You know, even if he wants to keep one hand underneath him, just wait for the next cop to get there, and then we'll pull his
As
arms
long
out.
as long as that hand stays there,
Yeah,
and when it
yeah,
comes out, it's on your terms, not his terms.
right. And then if it comes out with a weapon, that
That's a different problem. Yeah.
story. But there's it can end with him in a Kimura or me or disengage or you disengage and pull your firearm if that's what's necessary. But yeah, like just having the control of the exchange and knowing like they're definitely they're fighting with all their strength, so they're gassing out.
Yeah.
And
30 seconds max, I'd say.
if you roll on a consistent basis, you're not going to be tired. Like you're, and I try and practice things that like are applicable to like what we do. Also, like for my jiu-jitsu, like I don't, not that I don't ever do them, but like I don't really focus on inversions and stuff like that because I'm not really rolling on my head, you know, in self-defense situation. Not saying you should definitely, doesn't mean not practice it. You should definitely practice it and know
I
it.
try not
But
to go upside down as much as possible.
yeah, but like at because I job and also because like getting close to 40, like don't
Yeah.
need feet, you
Dude,
know.
getting stacked is like one of my worst fears in jiu-jitsu. It's like I
Yeah,
hate it. The neck, the back, I try to avoid it. Like if somebody goes for a stack pass, I freaking give it to them 10 out of 10 times. And if anybody's watching this and they're gonna verse me in a match, like stack, you want to know how to pass my guard? Stack pass me. You're gonna win. I'm gonna let it happen. Dude,
yeah.
I
The guy,
value
guy
my neck.
face.
Yeah, yeah. Let me edit that part out real quick. I'll keep it in there. That's funny, man.
But yeah, like I liked it. Like I'd love to pass the knee on belly because I think that's a great position
Yeah.
for us because you have control of one arm and putting that pressure on their stomach too. That's like it just takes the fight out of people when you get that knee on belly just right.
Yeah.
And then and if they're going to pull out for a weapon, you're a knee on belly, so you can disengage very easily.
Very quickly. Yeah.
I usually hit the knee on belly.
I agree. Yeah, that's probably the best pinning scenario. If I had to think about it off the top of my head, in order to pin somebody for law enforcement, like knee on belly is like where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like for me, my best control point is mount, but
Yeah.
it gives me a chance to disengage. Like if I'm in mount with like my hooks in and stuff, or like and they start reaching for a weapon, it's going to be controlling that hand that's reaching for the weapon. So that, but a lot of times if you got that pressure on them, that top pressure, they they may not even want to fight anymore. And
I was
like
gonna say a hard knee on belly is gonna get one of two reactions: either I give up or oh my god, I'm gonna die.
yeah, I'm definitely a fan of like the old school Gracie Jiu-Jitsu where he's just like heavy top pressure
Yeah.
and just like getting on top and staying on top. Like Chris Howder says that all the time. The keys of grappling is like you want to get on top and stay on top, and it a lot of people don't do that because of the lucrative sort of like benefits of playing guard. Like you get used to playing guard on the mats, and like you get really lazy with it. I'm been guilty of this. Like
Me too.
start rolling with the white belts, and you're just like, especially like new white belts, you're like, you're just kind of toying with them, right? And it's like all fun and games until like it's time to roll with the purple belt, and then like you get past quick because you were like being lazy. You develop
Yeah.
develop the habit of like being lazy. So like guard is great, but like especially in real world situations, like um, especially real world situations, like you don't want to be put onto your back.
Yeah.
Especially even if you're a guard player, you know, um,
It's very hard to put somebody's hands behind their back from full guard.
from full guard, and just in general, just like a street fight as well. And Chris Hatter also talks about like this whole there's this uh, triangle symbol that kind of you see over again in jiu-jitsu, and like
Mm-hmm.
some cases it means like having a good base, like the triangle
Mm-hmm.
base. Um you that's really important to grappling. But he talks about it as like the relationship between training street, training sport, and then the art of martial arts. So it's like he always says you need to train sport because that's the only way you can do it safely without hurting each other, right? Train sport, but think street.
Mm.
And then the art is something that you can put into it as you're training, and on the mat room, put your own expression, your own style to like what you do and stuff like that. But like he actually was a police officer for a while too, so I think he has like good understanding of like applying it to the street. It's like we train sport, like you have these people that are like, well, if I would just poke you in the eye or hit you with a stone, it's like, well, I could do that too. Like
Yeah.
they don't like, oh, jujitsu doesn't work because like I would never let you do that to me. I would just like do this or do that. It's like, all right, yeah, like that's all possible things in a street fight, right? You pick up some object and throw it at me, or like you try and eye gouge me, but like you can't practice being eye gouged. So just like
Yeah.
don't worry, and like
Well, you could, but it just wouldn't be smart.
you know,
Like, or you
right.
can only do it once.
I was I was watching UFC fights, and my we were with my one of my wife's good friends. She's my friend too, but she's like, how come you can't just like kick them in the nuts and do whatever? Like, would it be like make it more like a real fight? I'm like, because then it wouldn't be like a sanctioned fight. It's severely like we don't want it to just end in injury right away. It's like, oh, if you say that, it's like, all right, well, why don't we get rid of the rounds and let them use weapons? Like back when UFC was in its infancy, there's no rounds, no weight classes. I mean, we saw how brutal that was. And it's
It
still,
was.
just because it's like it's evolved so much. But like MMA, current MMA is like the best controlled way to see who the best fighters in the world are.
I agree.
So like, yeah, if you're listening to this or like you're you're a cop that like hasn't really done any training or anything, and you just kind of think, oh, it's not really, jiu-jitsu doesn't really apply because it's not realistic because we're going to be on cement and it's not the mat room and it's just different. You're lying to yourself really, and
Mhm.
you're also just you're misunderstanding like the benefits of like training jiu-jitsu as a sport and how that's going to carry into the street.
Yeah.
Like your average blue belt can win most fights with people that don't know anything. And most of the people we deal with don't know anything and don't know how to fight. And so it's like, hey, they might grab a weapon, but guess what? Like you have weapons too. And like, so like, if you just want to stick to lifting weights and or not training at all, which is the worst. Like some people, you don't have the means to go to jujitsu at a time. Totally understand it, but you should be staying fit, right? That should be the bare minimum. If you're not doing any of that, you're putting yourself in a position to get hurt. And I think and we all go through like times of our life. So when you have a new baby, like when I like there's a few months, it wasn't training on the regular, or what I was bringing her in the carrier and keeping her on the mats. And it just wasn't getting quite quality training. But like, so sometimes in your life, things haven't, ebb and flow. You just want to
There's seasons in life.
right.
Huh?
But generally, you want to be training. So like when you are going through that, seasons of life where you don't have the time, well, you still have the background to be able
Mhm.
to defend yourself. I've dealt with strength matters, right? Training is good. I'm a big advocate of lifting, but I think if that's all you do, it's not enough. And you see big, strong guys get rolled on the street all the time in videos, and like you see
Yeah.
you see plenty of. Just go watch these like these
Bodybuilder versus
yeah,
jujitsu video. Yeah.
yeah, or just like you watch a cop that seems like he's in good shape or someone that doesn't want to go and they're losing their balance or losing base. Again, the importance of like having a good base. The symbol of the triangle, like you should have a good flat base so you don't get triangle can't get rolled over in any direction. Jiu-jitsu is just extremely important to law enforcement, and I think the more people we get to train, the better. I think guys is starting to get to a point where it's like, oh, the jiu-jitsu cop, all he does is
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true too. That's so funny.
It's like, yeah, I know I talk about it a lot, but you should join my cult
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
It's a good cult.
Good
It's a
cult. Yeah.
fun cult. Tell everybody who's watching, I guess, how to get hyped up for your match, how to get excited, what you're going to go there, try to do, put on a show. Anybody that's watching this that's going to be on the event, what's your sign off?
I think it's going to be a solid matchup. I think it's as far as like skill and size, that's all going to be pretty even. I think I like to show up to my fights and just give it my all. I don't quit. Like I'm not going to go out there and quit. Even if he puts me in a bad position early on, I'm going to fight and like I think I think most people can identify with, like, especially with like,
Yeah.
especially if you come from like a blue collar working class of just like hard work and like not giving up, and like those are things that like really that I identify with. So I promise I'm going to go out there, try and put on a show and get the W. And if I don't get the W, I'm going to go down fucking trying. Like I guarantee it's going to be a good match. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of other good matches too. I like to go in there and beat my chest a little bit and be aggressive and try and win. Yeah, I've had other super fights in other situations before when I was at white belt, and we went into this one time went into overtime, and the guy gets me, him and his coach definitely set up, gets me in a deep bow and arrow, but I'm just like, I'm not fucking tapping. And I got my hand in and I looked up at the ref and I gave him a thumbs up
Nice.
and I muscled my way out.
Hell yeah.
Right? Technique, I'm telling you.
Dude, a bow and arrow is hard to get out of, man.
Yeah, and
It's
he was
not easy.
good. Yeah, I didn't listen. I won that fight, but no means it's like it could have went the other way for sure.
Yeah. Those are the best ones to watch, though. Those really are. It's the
Yeah,
most exciting.
the guy's good. But yeah, so hopefully put on a good show for you guys. I hope people come out and support. It's a good cause for platforming, helps platform veterans and law enforcement and first responders, and we have um, obviously we have our law enforcement and then also our military guys. It's just like, in my opinion, we don't do enough for, like, we don't have enough resources for them when they get out of the military, and like,
Mhm.
so you can show up, show your support, and like let them know that you support the veterans, and us as law enforcement, we love the support too. So looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good time, and it was the first time, so I'll see you all there, I guess.